There is a very specific type of torture that only ambitious people understand. It isn't the lack of ideas, you have plenty of those. It isn't a lack of talent, you know you are capable. It is the gap, the agonizing, invisible gap between the life you live in your head and the life you are actually living. In your mind, you are disciplined, productive, and successful, but in reality, you are frozen. You wake up with a plan, but by noon, you've achieved nothing but scrolling through your phone. You aren't doing this because you don't care. In fact, you care too much. You are caught in a psychological paradox known as the freeze response. You are essentially revving your engine with the parking brake on, and the engine is starting to smoke. Society calls this laziness. Your parents might call it a lack of discipline, but psychology tells us a different story. What you are experiencing isn't a character flaw, it is a battle between two ancient parts of your biology. And right now, the wrong part is winning. To fix this, we first have to open up the hood and look at the engine. Your brain is not one unified system. It is a house divided. On one side, you have the prefrontal cortex, the CEO. This is the part of you that sets goals, dreams of the future, and understands logic. But deep inside, you have the limbic system, the lizard brain. This part cares about one thing: survival. And to the lizard brain, survival means comfort, safety, and conserving energy. Here is the problem. When you set a big goal, like writing a book or starting a business, your prefrontal cortex sees opportunity, but your lizard brain sees threat. It sees the potential for failure, the pain of effort, and the risk of embarrassment. So, it pulls the emergency brake. It floods your body with resistance. To soothe this anxiety, it demands a quick fix: dopamine. You check social media not because you are interested, but because you are self-medicating. You are numbing the anxiety of your own ambition. This creates a feedback loop. You feel stressed about work, you avoid the work to feel better. You feel guilty for avoiding the work. You feel more stressed. This is not laziness, this is a biological survival mechanism gone wrong. There is another heavy weight holding you down: the fantasy of potential. Many of us are closet perfectionists. We think perfectionism means having high standards, but in reality, perfectionism is just fear in a fancy suit. It is the belief that if I don't do it perfectly, I shouldn't do it at all. As long as you stay in the dreaming phase, your idea remains perfect. The book in your head is a bestseller. The business in your head is a Fortune 500 company. But the moment you start, it becomes real. And reality is messy. Reality has flaws. By procrastinating, you are protecting your ego. You are protecting the idea of your potential, rather than risking the reality of a mediocre first attempt. You tell yourself, I'm waiting for the right time, or I need to research more. Let's be honest, research is often just procrastination disguised as work. You don't need more information. You need to be willing to be bad at it. You need to be willing to produce garbage just so you can fix it later. You cannot steer a parked car. So, how do we break out of this? We have to stop relying on motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are like the weather. They change constantly. You cannot build a house only when the sun is shining. You need a system that works even when it's raining. First, we must address your environment. Psychology teaches us about friction. If you want to stop a behavior, increase the friction. If you want to start a behavior, decrease it. Look at your desk right now. Is your phone within reach? That is low friction for distraction. Is your work buried under tabs or papers? That is high friction for action. Design your life so that the good decision is the lazy decision. If you want to work out in the morning, sleep in your gym clothes. If you want to work, leave your laptop open to the document the night before. Stop forcing your brain to make decisions. Every decision costs energy. Save that energy for the work itself. Next, we need to trick the lizard brain. Remember, it fears the size of the task. If you say, I am going to write a chapter, the lizard brain panics. It's too big. So, shrink the task until it looks ridiculous. Don't write a chapter, write one sentence. Don't work out for an hour, do 5 push-ups. This is the 2-minute rule. Make the goal so small that your brain feels stupid saying no to it. Once you start, a psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik effect kicks in. Humans hate unfinished tasks. Once you open the document and write that one sentence, your brain will naturally want to keep going. The hardest part of a rocket launch is the liftoff. The rest is just momentum. You are not trying to be a hero, you are just trying to show up. A terrible workout is infinitely better than the perfect workout you never did. A messy paragraph is infinitely better than a blank page. Lower your standards for starting so you can raise your standards for finishing. Finally, and most importantly, you must stop the shame cycle. Many of us believe that if we beat ourselves up enough, we will finally change. We think guilt is fuel, but psychology shows that guilt actually drains your willpower. It makes you feel heavy, which makes you want to escape, which leads to more procrastination. Forgive yourself for the time you wasted. It's gone. You cannot get it back, and punishing yourself for it only wastes a day too. Talk to yourself like a coach, not a tyrant. Say, okay, I scrolled for 2 hours. That happened. I forgive myself. Now let's do 10 minutes of work. You are not a lazy person. You are an ambitious person with a brain that is trying to protect you. But you don't need protection anymore. You need progress. The life you visualize is still there, waiting for you. But it won't be built by the version of you that waits for tomorrow. It will be built by the version of you that accepts the discomfort, ignores the fear, and takes one imperfect step today. Close this video, put your phone in another room, do one small thing, right now.